Yeah, hi everybody at YouTube, and I am Michael Buckoff. I'm at it again. I'm grading some speaking practice tests from my online students at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. Why do you care? Maybe you don't care. I don't know. Maybe not. But some people watch the video. They want to get an idea of how I interact with my online students, because students who are preparing for the TOEFL exam, they typically like to complete pronunciation and speaking practice tests, and they want to see what kind of feedback they will get in the online TOEFL course that they join. And that's what you will see in this video. You will see the kind of feedback that I give to my students as they complete their TOEFL speaking practice test. Now, I've come to the end of a very busy quarter. Some of you know I am an English professor here at California State University, San Bernardino, and for 2 different terms in the year, I teach 4 composition classes for each term. So that's been making me very, very busy over the last 20 weeks. However, next week is finals week. I know a lot of you guys are probably getting ready to go on a spring break or something, right? So after next week, I go back to only teaching 2 writing classes for my students. So my time will be, I have a lot more free time, which means I can probably do more live stream. All right? So what I want to do now, I'm going to talk to some of my students who have completed speaking practice tests. So let's see what we have. Okay, I'm going to go directly online. Okay, I'm going to also go get the speaking rubrics ready so I can accurately score the practice tests that my students are submitting. Okay, I think we're good. So these are the rubrics. I want to make sure I have these, and let's go ahead. So who do we have? Our first one is Emery. So what time do you prefer to take classes, in the morning, afternoon, or evening? So now what I'm going to do is listen to his response and then give him some feedback. He wants to know what his score is and why. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Emery Yasa, and I am Michael Buckoff, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. So thank you for completing the practice test, and let's go.
I would prefer to go to the classes in the morning, because in morning time mind is so open and body is not tired so much, because if you have a good sleep, your energy is already in your body. So this is why I would like to go to the in the morning time. And second reason is I have lots of time if I go to the morning classes, because I want to get free time for the activities, and such as going cinema, theater, or you can have a lots of free time to make a review of lessons. This is why I choose to go to the class in the morning.
Alright, so my first impression listening to your response is you got problems in all 3 areas. Delivery, a lot of pauses, a lot of hesitations, and you need to work on varying your tone more. Language use, you're shifting from that I to that you point of view, and you should be more focusing on the I like to take classes in the morning because, or you can focus on a student, which is third person singular, but not that second person singular. Topic development, you could organize your response a little bit better. So those are some of my initial kind of feelings. Let's listen to it one more time.
I would prefer to go to the classes in the morning because in morning time mind is so open and body is not tired so much because if you have a good.
Nah, you're taking too long for the introduction, right? So you're at 17 seconds, you still haven't gotten any details, so that's not going to work, right? So what if you say this? Because my mind is more open and I can get higher scores in my tests, I prefer to take classes in the morning. Then you say, first of all, I like to take classes in the morning because my mind is a lot more open. Then you develop that topic. Then you say, second of all, I also like to take classes in the morning because I can get higher scores on my exams. Then you give one or two examples to support that. So you need to get, instead of 17 seconds, Emery, the introduction should be between 8 to 10 seconds, and it should focus around two key points.
Sleep, your energy is.
Now, don't say yours, say my energy.
I have lots of time if I go to the morning classes.
But if you say the second, say, I also like to take classes in the morning because it gives me more free time in the remainder of my day. Say something like that. And then give the example to support what you're saying.
I want to get free time for the activities and such as going cinema, theater, or you can have a lots of free
or
time.
Or I can, not you.
To make a review of lessons. This is why I choose to go to the.
And notice how you're at 60 seconds here. So you need to improve your fluency, really, right? So with the pronunciation problems I addressed, focus a lot in the pronunciation area in my course, and one specific thing you want to focus on for your delivery is called thought groups and blending, Emery. Go to pronunciation lessons 41 through 44 to learn about how you can speak more fluently with fewer pauses and hesitations. Language use. Okay, go to Google. Type in these keywords. Choosing the appropriate point of view in writing. I know it says writing, but you have to think about this and how it relates to speaking too, because you're saying the I and then the you point of view. I'm saying you don't really need that you point of view. Focus on either the first or the third person singular point of view. That's a pretty good point of view for this type of TOEFL speaking. That would be my recommendations on that. All right, hold on a quick second. Hello? Yeah, I did. I took care of it. No, I just did it. I'd forgotten all about it. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. It takes about a day to do it. Yeah, I'm doing a live stream video right now. You want to say hi to my YouTube audience? I'm not. Yes. Dude, for $245? Wow. Yeah. You okay? Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty tapped out right now on my paper. I'm almost down to zero, the balance. Yeah. Well, we're gonna get the tax refund stuff's gonna take. That'll take care of all this stuff, but it'd be maybe a week or two. No, I'd go ahead and do it. All right, bye-bye. All right, let's keep going here. I apologize for that. My wife just called me. When my wife calls, I got to answer. No way to get out of it. Okay, let's go to the next one here. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Chew and Rot, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. And I'm going to listen to your independent speaking practice test, number 6. Right, so let's take a look at what this question is first. So which do you think is better, living on campus in dorms or living off campus in apartments?
It is better for me to live in dormitories on campus because it is very convenient to commute to the class, and there are a lot of friends that I can make in dormitories, so I can study with them.
Now you're still on 2 support points, right? So you're taking a little too long in the introduction. You're taking about half the time so far. Half of your time is spent setting up the topic. That's not going to give you enough time for your specific details. So your goal, Chew and Rot, is to create an introduction that's about 8 to 10 seconds long only. It's good to have an introduction, don't get me wrong, right? But you do not want it to eat up too much of your response time. So go to speaking lesson number 2. In that lesson, Chew and Rot, and very good tips on how you can create a more sharply focused introduction for this type of speaking task.
Hanging out with them, make more friends. And moreover, the price is very cheap and it includes facilities, utilities.
So you're bringing up all these support points, Chew and Rot, but you're not giving any specific examples for any of these ideas. So my suggestion is bring up two support points in this kind of response, then make sure you have adequate supporting details for those ideas.
And you don't have to worry about...
And don't say you, and say I don't have to worry about. I would use I, not that you point of view.
The extra money that you have to pay compared to live in apartment out.
Compared to living in an apartment, I would say.
Off campus.
Okay, so on this one, and that thing at the very end, I said compared to living, and you said live. So you're thinking you want to use an infinitive there, but because you're saying compared to, I think to is being used more as a preposition, which means you want to have a gerund after that, not the base form of the verb. That's why I corrected that. You can go to the pronunciation area of my course. You can check out the lesson, not pronunciation, go to the grammar part of my course and check out the lesson on gerunds and infinitives. Your score here, I think you're getting eaten up on this one. So topic development, you talked about too many big ideas without giving any supporting details, so that's not good. Language use, you're shifting from that first person singular to the second person singular point of view. I would not do that. Delivery, you're speaking a little bit slowly. You want to try to speak a little more fluently with fewer pauses, and that helps you get your ideas out faster, so keep working in the pronunciation area of my course. Your score here, I'm going to put you at about 2.1 out of 4, 17 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. All right? And those are my comments for her. All right, I'm going to go ahead and listen to the next one here. I don't know how many practice tests I got to do right now, probably more than 6 or 7. So I'm going to just keep going. This is number 2. So just go to the next one. So what I want to do is, with my TOEFL course, I want my students to be able to get feedback in about 24 hours after they complete a practice test. That is my goal, right? So that student, she completed her practice test yesterday, and I'm giving her comments today. As you guys can imagine, I actually have students from about 60 students from 50 or 60 countries all over the world, so there's no way I can get all these things done. Now this guy's doing more than one here. You can only do one, so I'm not listening to this one. My rule is you can do one practice test every 24 hours. That's how I keep my course so cheap. So students who want speaking practice, they can certainly do it, but I don't want one student sending me 10 speaking practice tests in one day. I got 59 other students here. I want to be able to talk to everybody. So I have limitations on that. Same thing with writing. If you guys are curious, you can do writing practice in my online course too, but you can only send me one writing practice test every 24 hours. That's it. And when you do the writing practice, I will not correct all the writing errors in your essay. I won't do it. It takes too much time. The speaking, I can make a lot of corrections very quickly in 2 or 3 minutes, but with writing, it takes a lot longer than that. All right, let's take a look at this one. Philip's a good student here. This guy, let's see how he does here. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Philip. How's it going, buddy? And I'm looking at your speaking prompt right now. So you have received a $10 million check from a recently deceased relative. You must donate 50% of the money either to a hospital or to a school in your hometown. Which organization would you donate the money to and why? Use reasons and examples to explain your choice.
If I received a $10 million check from a recently deceased relative with the condition of donating 50% of the money either to a hospital or to a school in my hometown, I would donate 50% of the money, $5 million, to an existing hospital in order to develop their system. For example,
now notice this, Philip. You're killing me here, Philip. You're killing your TOEFL score. 25 seconds into the response, that's the end of the introduction. No, you shouldn't spend half of your response time as an introduction. Think of it this way. Philip, if you're writing an essay, would you spend half of your essay introducing the topic? Probably not, right? So let's say you have a 7-page paper, right? You're not going to spend 3.5 pages of that paper introducing the topic. You'll take maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs on the first page. What does that mean to you here? What I'm saying, Philip, is instead of taking 25 seconds to introduce your idea, you should be taking between 8 to 10 seconds introducing your idea. Then you move to your first support point. Now remember this too. Now if you talk about it in the hypothetical, you say, if I received the $10 million, I would donate the money to the hospital because. So if you want to use past tense verbs to talk about a present and possible reality, you can do that. Or if I receive the money, I will donate. So if you use a simple present tense, you're talking about a present possible situation, and you kind of have to change the grammar accordingly, right? So this is all part of your control over your language use.
I have one little hospital in my native village, and certainly if I am going to donate $5 million to that hospital, they will build a big hospital with modern equipments and even MRI scan and cardiovascular treatment and everything in my hometown.
Okay, now you brought up a whole bunch of ideas in there, but you didn't give enough time to support those ideas. So then you have to say something like this. If I received $10 million, I would donate the money to a hospital in my hometown so they could upgrade the equipment in the radiology center or something. So if you say so they can upgrade the equipment in the radiology center, then you just talk about how the money can be used for that specific part of the hospital, and that gives you a little bit more specific organization. Then you can provide those specific details for maybe 15 or 20 seconds to help illustrate your points. All right, buddy? So in this one, I think with topic development, you express mostly basic ideas with limited details and support. That's going to bring your score down. Language use, I didn't notice any major problems there. Delivery, you have that non-native speaker accent. One thing you can work on is your intonation. So you can check out intonation. Excuse me, Philip. I had to just sneeze. Come on. You can check out pronunciation lessons 36 through 40 to learn more about that. All right, so your score here, I don't know, I'm going to put you at about 2.3 out of 4, 18 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. All right? There we go. So as you guys can see over at YouTube, I have students who have a variety of academic English proficiency when it comes to speaking, writing, or whatever. And a lot of these students, their TOEFL scores are in the 2 range right now, really. They're really right around between 14 and 20 points out of 30. And then, of course, every now and then I get somebody who has a TOEFL score. I got one guy, you might see him here, his name's Khalid. His TOEFL score is about 24 points out of 30. He needs to get 26. So I kind of have all these different ranges. So what my job is, and it's not that fun for my students, but I have to point out all the problems they have. Now, who wants that? Nobody wants somebody to say, okay, here's everything you're doing wrong. But that's how I help my students improve their speaking and ultimately their speaking score, because I tell them what problems they're having, then they try not to do those problems again, and then they improve their speaking abilities. Okay, who do we have here? We got one more here. Okay, let's take a look. This is an independent speaking practice test number 26. Wow, how about that for a lucky number? Think about you guys at YouTube. Would anybody be upset if you got 26 on the speaking section of the TOEFL? Probably not, right? Okay, let's talk to this student. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Shrikant, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of the lessons at the TOEFL, or at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And I'm going to go ahead and look at what you wrote first, and then I'll listen to it. So you say, in my view, I agree that the most important influence about friends in my life who have adorable careers and assiduous. You're translating. You are translating from your first language to the second language, and it is killing your speaking. What I just read doesn't sound natural at all, not at all. Right? You say, first of all, I would admire the most important influence about friends in my life because of the adorable career. Nobody says adorable career. You can say lucrative career. You can say a rewarding career. You can say a promising career. Adorable? No. A kitten. Meow. A kitten is adorable because it's cute. So we don't use the word cute or adorable to refer to a career. See, for example, my friend Shiva Kumar, who is struggling, getting his U.S. visa to do a master's degree. Again, though, there's no main subject and no main verb there. Go back to Google, Shrikant. What you have here is a fragment. You have many fragments when you're speaking. You can't use a dependent clause as the main part of your sentence. You say, second of all, I also desire the most important influence about friends in my life for his hard working. For instance, his friend Michael is the English professor in California State University, San Bernardino, and teaches English and the internet for students who want to pass the TOEFL to keep him busy for his family. As a result, I would consider important influence about friends in my life for the above reasons. Okay, I like you put my example in there, and yeah, you got to work hard. I agree with that. Now, let's listen to it.
I agree that the most important influence about friends in my life who have adorable career and assiduous. First of all, I will admire the most important influence about friends in my life because of the adorable career. For example, the friend Shrikant who was struggling is getting US visa to do a master's degree at Lamar University in Texas. Second of all, I also admire the most important influence about friends in my life for his hardworking. For instance, the friend Michael Baka is an English professor in the
That's me, buddy.
State University San Bernardino and teaches English on the internet for the students who want to pass the TOEFL to keep him busy for his family. As a result, I would consider the important influence about friends in my life for the above reasons.
You got it, buddy. So I like how you use my example. What is that telling me? It's telling me that you're taking your experiences and you're incorporating them into your speaking and writing, and that's okay. No problem with that. And that's why I recommend watching movies, listening to the news. You can watch the news. You can read newspapers. All of these things give you experience. And this can be helpful for your independent speaking and also your independent writing tasks. You can draw on this information and you can speak and write about it. That's a good thing, right? Okay, now let's take a look at your score here. A lot of language use issues, right? You have what's called translation issues, which means you're using words that you might be translating into English, but they don't work very well, right? It doesn't sound very natural. Also, you're having problems with sentence structure. You have a tendency to use a lot of fragments. And remember, you cannot put this in your notes in your speaking journal, Shrikant. You cannot use a dependent clause as the main part of your sentence. That becomes a sentence fragment. And yes, that is a language use issue. Topic development, I think you seem to have a pretty good organization, and you had some examples in there, which is good. Delivery, a lot of problems with your pacing. It means you're not sure when to pause, or how often you should pause, or what kind of tone you need when you pause. So those things are problematic for you. So you want to work on, I think it's pronunciation lessons 41 through 44 is called thought groups and blending. Your score on this one, I'm going to put you at about 1.5 out of 4, 11 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. All right? Okay, I'm done with that. Now let me take a quick break. Time out, man. I'm going to go into my email right now and see what I have. I'm sure. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Man, I got 7 practice tests I need to grade right now just in my email. Okay. All right, I'm going to take a break here just quickly. See who's saying what. So we have Omar Correa says hi, and Michael says hi to you. How's it going, buddy? I'm just kind of taking a break here for a minute. Hope you guys don't mind. We got Shrikant, difference between 14, 24, and 26, big time. A score of 14 on the speaking, Shrikant, to go from 14 to 26, because you have a lot of language use issues you got to solve. You have a lot of topic development issues and a lot of delivery issues. You're looking at 6 months. It takes a long time to solve all those problems. Not very easy. 24 to 26, if you go from 24 to 26, it could be 1 or 2 months, depending on what kinds of problems there are, or the problems that the student has. Okay, hold on a second. Do you guys know something? I'll tell you something at YouTube here. A lot of people, when they get tired, they need they drink coffee, right? But do you know an apple? You guys see this? An apple works just as well as a cup of coffee. A simple apple. You get tired, eat an apple. No coffee, eat an apple. Apple's good, right? Yeah, Shrikant, 24, it's a lot easier getting 24 than it is getting 26. I can tell you that. That probably just took 2 months off of your study. So instead of 6 months, probably take about 4 months. Hey, are you guys, any of you guys watching the video right now, does anybody have any plans for spring break? In the United States, around March every year, a lot of students, both at the elementary, high school, and college, they take a week. They get a week off, a week vacation, and then they usually go somewhere. What am I doing? You're not going to believe this. I'm doing nothing. Zero. I'll probably be at my online course grading again. My wife's going to Utah next week with my son, but I don't have spring break next week. My spring break is a week after. Shrikant. So you say it's taking so long, my TOEFL journey. It is a journey. And it does take a long time for some students. It's true. It does. How about this? Shrikant, do you know how long it took me to build my online TOEFL course? I did it alone with no help from anybody. It took 7 years. 7 years to build my course. I'm not kidding you. Once I eat this apple, I'm grading again. Okay, it is time. I got to go back. Now, sometimes you guys make comments, but when I'm grading, I got to concentrate on the grading. I can't do two things at one time, right? Think about this. I'm 51 years old. I do one thing, then I do another thing, I do another thing, and so on. Okay, let's get right down to it. So I'm going to go to my email, and I start off. Okay, I just sent an email. One person, he did independent speaking practice test 9. I just told him that I graded it. I'm moving on.
I prefer to give a donation to a school in my hometown rather than a hospital.
Okay, so I'm going to talk to Wasim. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Wasim Khalil, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. So you could not use my Voxy Pop, so you sent me a link to Vocaroo. That's fine, no problem. And I'm going to listen to it right now. All right, so here we go.
I prefer to give a donation to a school in my hometown rather than a hospital, because I have 2 children in this school and I want to help them to have a good education and have fun.
Okay.
Usually the principal of my children's school send us emails every week asking for donation.
Usually the principal sends us emails every week. I like your use of the simple present to talk about a habit. That's a good strategy for you, right? However, I would recommend there that you use the simple present, but use the singular area there. So then you say sends, right? Let's keep going.
To make activities for children, or to make constructions in school, or to buy new educational material, to fix the computer lab, and usually there is no foundation for all these activities.
Okay.
So if I had this money, I would prefer to give it to school to help them.
Okay, so let's take a look at the rubrics here. I think overall you have answered the question. You talked about how you'd want to give the donation to the school, and then you talked about why. But probably you could be a little more specific. You can say, well, part of the donation could be used to buy textbooks for the students, or for my children and other students in their classes, right? You could do something like that. Or the money can also be used to purchase materials for the library or something. So try to be a little more specific as you explain those ideas on how your donation would be helpful for the school. So that's a topic development issue. overall, I think you have pretty good control over your language use. Delivery, not bad. You're speaking in a mostly clear manner. I recommend that you work on your intonation a little bit, so you can check out pronunciation lessons 36 through 40, which focus around tone. All right, I think that's it. So thank you for completing that speaking practice test. Wasim. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and email him these comments. There we go. Okay, the next one, this guy is actually one of my students here at California State University, San Bernardino. And let's see how he did on this one. I got to go to Blackboard and record his grade here. I'm giving him some extra credit. He wants to bring his grade up a little bit. He's trying to enter the MBA program here at California State University, San Bernardino. So he's doing an assignment to bring up one of the scores in the class. He's working hard, in other words. Let me get a pencil. Okay, we got it. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for BYL, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. And I think that you're doing a integrated speaking practice test. Am I right? Okay, so let me click on the rubrics here, because there's a few things I need to be able to figure out what your score is. Okay, here we go. Let's listen to the whole thing one time, and then we'll listen to it again.
The speakers talked about the requirement for their research paper. First of all, the speakers talked about the requirement.
That's because who? Who is saying this? Is this a reading passage? Is this a lecture? Is this a conversation between two students? Give me some context here so I can understand what's going on.
Research paper. First of all, both of them discuss the page length requirement. According to Steve, one should be 6 to 7 pages long. He explains about his story and friend.
In the beginning, you might want to say, well, in the conversation, the two students discuss the flexibility of a professor regarding the page length requirements for the writing project. Maybe something like that. So you need that introduction that gives us the purpose of kind of why you're telling me all this information.
Story. For example, when he studied.
No, it's for example. You did not pronounce that final syllable there.
His studied last quarter. His paper was not an issue. When he studied last quarter, his paper was not an issue. The 5.5 pages were longer than 7 pages. However, his friends were an issue despite the same situation. So, one should be like at least 6 to no longer than 7 pages.
You're not getting the gist of it. So the one professor submitted an assignment or a research project that was 5.5 pages, and ultimately, according to the conversation, received a lower score because it fell short of the 6 to 7 page requirement. On the other hand, another student turned in the assignment and it was like 7.5 or 8 pages long, and similarly also received a very low score.
So she should write about her writing assignment. Right.
Yeah, so on this one, if we look at the rubrics here, speaking, I think here you're having a lot of language use issues. You're not able to fully explain, I think, what's happening in the conversation due to your vocabulary and your grammar limitations. That was a pretty big issue there. Topic development, I think you left out some key ideas in the response. It wasn't clear always how what you were saying was connected to the passage. Delivery, you're speaking too slowly, too many pauses, right? You're not varying your intonation the way that you need to. All right? So with your speaking, it just really isn't that you haven't really improved your speaking significantly. Now the question is, why not? So what have you been doing or what have you not been doing that hasn't really helped you to make significant progress with your speaking? So the main thing I'm going to recommend for you is really take time to speak with native speakers as much as you can, and that makes it easier for you to communicate in English. Also, in my online course, I recommend that you spend a lot of time right now in the vocabulary and the grammar sections of my course, also in the pronunciation area of my course. That's going to be very helpful for you. This one, I don't know, I'm going to put you at about 2.0 out of 4 or 15 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. Now, for the purposes of our class, I remember the last score that you had was 70, right? And you're trying to bring up that score right now, so let's see if you did. So I gave you a score of 2.0 out of 4. And if we go to the rubrics here, no, it's even lower. So I put you at 64, so I'm not going to change your grade there. I'm going to just keep it at 70. So your speaking, it's still not where it needs to be. So you need to really spend time not just studying the course material that you're taking in your classes, but you need to build your academic English language proficiency, because when you get into the graduate program, you can't be in a graduate program with this type of English. You have to really develop your vocabulary and your grammar and then try to speak more clearly. All right, so anyway, thank you for completing the practice test. Now, I'm not going to change your grade at Blackboard. I'm going to keep it at 70. I think your speaking still has not improved where it needs to be. Okay? All right, thank you. Okay, let me go ahead and send this guy a quick email. All right, I'll go to the next one now. Mike has a question. Where can I see the requirements to the TOEFL and points format? I'll give you a link. Let me go over to Google here. See if I can find it right now. So I'm going to type in the keyword TOEFL speaking rubrics. See what I'm saying? And guess what? Here they are, the independent, and then you have the integrated rubrics here, and I will put this link this is what you need to make sure you have here, so that's where you want to go right there. All right, let's go to the next one. Yeah, hi there, Dilly Rom, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. Wow, so you're doing independent speaking task number 18, am I right? Let's take a look at what this one is. So your topic here is, what type of job do you like to do? A passive one like an accountant or an active one like a pilot? So which job suits you better? That is the question that you're answering. Okay, so let's see how you answered this question. Okay, here we go.
I think that passive job is fit for me because of my shy nature. I can perform my duty successfully only in peaceful environment as a result of my shy nature. In the field of passive job, I work confidently and actively because I don't have a feeling of shy of other people.
Okay.
I don't require to ask and reply to people's questions like in group discussion. In fact, since I don't have responsibility of talking to people, passive job is my favorite.
Yeah, so because you're shy, you prefer a passive job. And guess what? Your pronunciation is getting a little bit better. It is. It really is. You're making some progress. It's still not good, but you're making progress. That's what you want to be able to do. It's not perfect, but you're speaking more clearly than you did, say, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I feel like you are making progress. Now, the other thing is you want to make sure everything is connected around the speaking task.
I think that passive job is fit for me because of my shy.
I would say a passive job fits me better, I would say. Not is fit for me. I would say it suits me well or fits me better.
Nature. I can perform my duty successfully only in peaceful environment as a result of my shy nature. In the field of passive job.
See, this is a problem. You take this idea, this one example, then you just go on and on and on and on, but it doesn't all cohere or connect together very well, and it creates topic development problems. So my advice for you is I recommend you try to discuss at least 2 support points. You might say, well, because I'm shy and I think I can make more money, I prefer to do a passive job like an accountant rather than an active one like a pilot. Then you say, first of all, I like a passive job like an accountant because of my shy nature. Then you explain that. Say, second of all, I also like passive jobs like accountants because I can make more money. Then you illustrate that, right? So you need those transition words in there more. I think that's part of what can help you cohere or connect your ideas together a little bit better is by using those transition words.
I work confidently and actively because I don't have a feeling of shy of other people. I don't require to ask and reply to people's questions like in group discussion. In fact, since I don't have responsibility of talking to people.
Be more specific. Say, for example, if I'm an accountant, I concentrate on helping companies save more money. So instead of having to talk to the general public and customers, I can simply present my reports to my boss and I'm done. I won't have to do much talking at all.
Passive job is my favorite.
Okay, so I really think that we're making some improvements with your pronunciation, so I'm hopeful about that. Now, looking at the rubrics here, not going to get in the 3 range. You have too many delivery issues there, and you can do a better job, I think, organizing your ideas by limiting or focusing maybe around 2 support points, then giving some examples and try to make them connect together by the use of transition words, right? And also some delivery issues. I'm going to put you at about 2.1 out of 4, 17 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. All right? Send him a quick email here. Give me a second. Okay, we'll keep going. Shrikant says, can you recommend grammar lesson on fragment sentences in the course? Yes, I can. In fact, let me go to my website right now. Let me see if I can find that out. Let me see if I can find it right now. So I'm going to grammar right now, Shrikant. Let's look at it. Here, lesson number 25, comma splices, run-on sentences, and fragments. Lesson 25. There, I just sent it to you right now, Shrikant. Now, the other thing is, I'll give you an example of a fragment. I will post it at the live feed for YouTube. Let me look at one of your responses here. Is it this one? Here. This one. There it is. Yeah, I just put it in the YouTube live feed. That is an exact example of a fragment. You do that a lot with your speaking. So you gotta understand the difference between dependent and independent clauses, which means you also need to go to the grammar part of my course. Make sure you review the lessons on noun clauses, adjective clauses, and adverb clauses, because these are all dependent clauses and they cannot be used as the main part of the sentence. All of these dependent clauses, Shrikant, they have to be attached to the main part of the sentence. Okay, let me speak to this guy. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Khaled, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. So you're doing integrated speaking number 3A. So let's hear how you answered this question. Here we go, buddy.
The reading passage says that there will be a mandatory sport class every Friday for students.
I would say mandatory. That would be the right word, sir. Mandatory.
Who live on campus, and in the listening passage, 2 students discuss the new change.
Very good introduction, right? So now you're stating the main point of the reading and the listening passage. You did all of that in 11 seconds. I like it. So your structure is pretty good.
The male student believes it's a good idea for 2 reasons. First, he says that it will be a fun break from tedious classes. In addition to that, he also says that it will make students socialize more. Many students have not had the opportunity to know each other because of their busy schedule, and this sport class will be the perfect time to do that. So the male student agrees wholeheartedly with the new change.
Good. It's a little short. You should try to take all 60 seconds for these kinds of practice tests, but it was organized. I like it. You had good topic development. I didn't notice maybe possibly one or 2 minor language use issues in there, and very good delivery, buddy. So what does that mean for you? I think that you will get at least 26 points or higher on this one. So very strong. It's possible you could get a score 4. So yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I've been waiting for all day today. All my practice tests right now, they've been anywhere from 13 points all the way to maybe 17 or 18. But this one, your response is very good. It's very good. So again, I'll put you at least 26 points or higher on the TOEFL exam on the speaking section. I think it's very possible, like I said, you could get a score 4 on this practice test. So you guys over at YouTube, a lot of people wondering this, hey Michael, what do I need to do to get a 26? Do that. Do what Khaled just did, right? You're fluent, you have good pronunciation, not a lot of pauses, not a lot of hesitations. But one thing that Khaled does that 99% of all students don't do, he varies his intonation, and it makes him sound more natural. That's what really makes his delivery really, really good, is his intonation patterns are very similar to those of native speakers. He has good control over his vocabulary and his grammar, and he had a good organization. Remember in the beginning, he stated the topic of the reading, and then he showed how the listening was related to that. He did all of that in 11 seconds, and he explained all the ideas. I think my only drawback, or my only suggestion of what he could do better, is he finished in about 45 seconds, when really, because it's an integrated task, he can spend about 10 seconds or so more explaining the idea in a little bit more depth. But it was a good response. That is what you need to do right there. That's it. Any questions? Okay, let me send him a quick email. Now, you guys ever heard of this expression? I tell a lot of people, seeing is good, hearing is better, but doing is best. And what does that mean for you? Is you can watch YouTube videos all day long, but you actually need to complete speaking practice tests. You can't just see things and hear things. You have to do. You have to do speaking practice if you want to get better, and that's what my students do in my online course. They send me speaking practice almost every day, and then we do that. Okay, let's keep going. So I'm going to go ahead and send him a quick message. Okay, I got one more here. Then I'm taking a break. Another break. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Olena, and how are you doing today? And you know what? I like something that you do, which makes me very happy. Whenever I grade one of your speaking practice tests, you say thank you when I'm done. Now that does two things. There's two good results of saying the words thank you. Number one, when you say thank you, it tells me that you listen to my comments, you understand what I'm saying. So you're acknowledging that I took the time to grade your practice test. Now, the next thing, though, is by saying thank you, it's being very polite and being very nice, and it gives me good feelings inside, right? So I like that. So thank you for saying thank you, if that makes any sense. All right? I appreciate it. Because a lot of times, a lot of my students, I do all of this hard work for them. They never say anything at all. And that, your thank you, makes me happy. Okay, let's go to response number 12. So do you think children should be given cell phones? Why or why not? And I'm downloading it right now.
Phones are destructive, and cell phones radiation can cause health problems, which is why I think children should not be given cell phones.
Good. So in 9 seconds, what have you done? You've explained in your introduction your 2 support points. Cell phones are distracting, they have radiation, which is dangerous, so children should not be given cell phones for those 2 reasons. So that's a very good, sharply focused, 2-point support point introduction. So very good. I like how you began your response. Now the other thing is you're not speaking very loudly. So remember that I'm 51 years old, and guess what? I'm not getting any younger, and that's for sure. So speak as loudly as you can so I can hear you without any problems.
First, kids with cell phones are likely to spend too much with them. Cell phones activities
I would say they're likely to spend too much time on them. That's how I would say that.
are addictive and can affect educational process for kids.
Now, instead of saying can affect, say, and they can distract students from their studies. The reason I would use distract, because that more directly connects back to your first support point. You're saying that cell phones are distracting for children, right? So you want to make sure that the examples that you give, they kind of all tie back to that purpose.
For example, child doesn't have enough time for homework if he spends long hours with cell phones.
Now you say a child doesn't if he spends 1 hour, not just hours. So when you say hour, you have to say an hour or 1 hour because it is a singular count noun.
Second, according to recent studies, children's excessive usage of cell phones can lead to issues with health such as brain cancer. Because
Now that's where you have some language use issues. Let's listen to that one more time.
children's excessive usage of cell phones can lead to issues with health such as brain cancer.
Now you had trouble there. I would say this. Children who extensively use cell phones can expose them to radiation, which causes cancer. That's how I would say that. So that was a big problem. Just because of that, I got to score you in the 2 range. I'm going to be honest with you. That was a pretty serious language use issue. You could not put together the idea. I know, Elena, what you're trying to say in your mind, right? But you could not say it, I think, out loud because of your grammar limitations.
Because mobile phones emit radiation. Therefore, because of addictiveness and possible link with health damage, I think children should not be given cell phones.
Okay, let's go back to the beginning again one more time.
Cell phones are destructive, and cell phones radiation can cause health problems.
So you said distracting in the beginning, then you talked about the addictive nature of them later on, so you're having some problems connecting your ideas together. So if you want to say addictive, right, that's fine. If you want to say distracting, that's fine. But I see these as different ideas. They don't necessarily tie together. So the purpose of your response, Elena, is to make sure the whole response has a nice coherent organization, and in a few parts of your response things kind of fell apart a little bit. Okay, let's take a look at the rubrics here. So I think in this one you did have some significant language use issues, as I pointed out. You also had some problems making the ideas connect together. That's a second problem, and also you had some delivery issues. Therefore, based on those things, it's still a pretty good response, but not going to be in the 3 range. I'm going to put you at about 2.5 out of 4, 19 points out of 30. Now, the other thing, Elena, is I want you to speak a little more loudly, and then try to put some emotion, some personality into your response. That means you need to vary your intonation more in the next speaking task. Now, if you don't know how to do that, go to pronunciation lessons 36 through 40, and even better, if you can start watching some movies each week. You're probably already doing this, but as you're watching the movies, pay attention to how the speakers communicate and how they vary their tone like they do, and then you're going to try to imitate that. All right, thank you. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and send her comments. I think we're good. Okay, Shrikant, Okay, I'm going to correct it right now, Shrikant. Okay, I got to go, everybody. You guys have a good day at YouTube, and thank you for watching my video. Remember that if you want to practice your TOEFL speaking, you only need one course. Just go to my website, OnlineTOEFLCourse.com. That's all you need. And you can practice just like you see the students in this video. That's it. It's very easy.